Okay, hello. This actually is the 11th of May, but I've got Sunday, May 8th pulled up here in FireHouse. This is a little training on filtering on FireHouse Software. There are numerous filtering objects available, possibilities here, so I'm going to just give you a few here in the event you run into some issues that we've had before in the past. You could see that Sunday, May 8th, there's no data in here. So, oh my gosh, where's my data? I'm going to go over a couple here. These over here are all filters. All these here. In addition to those, down here are filters. So right now I have all these turned, I guess, on. The filters are on. There's 0 items in here. But you can see over here on the left, there's the blue. The shift time is filtered. You could tell it's filtered because it's blue. The shift time is set to default on a 24-hour shift. If we had different time schedules, different fire stations obviously could do different times depending on their time start time. In any event, so ours is set for the 24 at 7 o'clock. In any event, you know on May 8th, on Sunday, there's no way we had nothing the whole day. So let's, before we freak out, let's start opening some things up. The very first thing here are the calls. If you want to see calls for that day, you could open it up, and you will see there were 13 calls. And there they all are on Sunday. If you want to see, now we don't use the EMS, so by turning that on, you can see it's a little highlighted there. There's still going to be 0 because we just don't use that. If at a future day we want to start using that, then separating fire and EMS, then maybe that'd be something administration can consider. But for right now, we do not use it, so there should never be anything in there. Same with this one. The only 3 that we really use, well, 4 department-wise, but 3 for line personnel is going to be the incidents, training, and activities. This one here is more for the bureau. So if you open that up, well, it's a Sunday, so let's pick another day. You can see that over here, it's a good thing I did that. You can see here that these are all days that have items within it. So obviously Sunday the bureau didn't work. That makes sense. So let's go to Monday. Boom, there they are. These are things that the bureau put in there, but we really don't want to see their stuff, and I'm sure they don't want to see our stuff, so we'll just turn that one off, even though they're really there. Let's go back to Sunday. That's my shift. So we already looked at calls. Let's look at training for the day. So let's open up training. There were 6 training objects for the day. Boom, there they all are. And we'll close that back up because I don't want to see it. And activities. Here's all of our activities, knock seals, shopping, etc. that we've done for the day on Sunday. Now, typically, most of the time those are on. I don't know if they're on by default or if they're on just because they were left on by the last person. I do know, obviously we have realized that when something is left filtered, that you need to manually uncheck it to unfilter it. I think if you close the program, relog into it, it should be back on, whatever the defaults are set for. And I'm not sure, I haven't really dealt with the defaults before, but I'm just telling you right now to manually default them. So needless to say, here they all are. So this is the whole day, all the shifts. So now if you were a battalion chief and you wanted to look at the journal at Station 3, you don't want to see all this stuff. If you didn't want to see any activities or training and all you wanted to do is see calls for the day, well, there are just calls. But let's say you wanted to see the whole journal. So we have to open all these up. So now we have activities, we have training, and we have fire calls, but all for the station. I don't want the whole department. I just want my station, Station 3. So we're going to come over here to filtering, and on this topic you can get down to more nitty-gritty. You can filter by station, but there's pros and cons to that. I can kind of go into it maybe in 102, but I'm going to try to keep this 101. So what I do on a regular basis is I come here to units, and I go to Station 3. Now, if you hold down, if you click on the top and you hold down Shift and go to the bottom and click the bottom, you'll block all of those. However, you could also hold down Control if you only want to click each individual one separately by holding down Control. If you hold nothing down, just click, you'll just get the one item. What I normally do is go to the top, hold shift, go to the bottom, and I click everything out of my station. Really doesn't affect station 1 or station 4, but station 2, you can see that they probably want to do everything that went out of their station. But I don't care about 2. Let's go to station 3, and let's filter station 3. And let's apply filters. Now, if you close this box, which I'll do, you notice it's no longer on my screen, but you see how it's blue. It's still filtered, even though I don't see the little box. So normally what I do, just so I don't forget to undo it, is I'll leave it on, but I'll just kind of drag it out of the way here. That way I see it, but I don't. In any event, so now we have filtered strictly to station 3. This is everything at station 3. Now you notice here, you've got something not station 3. Well, why is that? Oh, incidentally, on calls, let me back up real quick. On calls, you're going to see, even though it's not a station 3 call, maybe it was went up to headquarters, let's say station 4 went to station 4, it's going to show up because the unit went to there. Remember, I asked for units, and those units went on that call. That's why it's pulling up. It doesn't really care so much of what station it is. I'm specifying units. Had I, and this is maybe a good point to bring this up, had I specified stations and only stations, let me clear filters. If I say station 3 only, then I'm not going to see that call because that call was a station 4 call. So that's why I don't like using that one. So I'm going to go to units again, and I just want to see what went out of my station that I'm responsible for. Apply the filter. This is everything that my station did or went out on calls for, regardless of the still district. Okay, but now you see here that there's something in here at station 2. Well, why is station 2 pulling up? Well, I'll tell you. If you go in here, it's empty. I have always made it a habit from the get-go to put in location, which is Tri-State 3, down here. I type it in, but it's down here. And I also have a habit to put in the engine, the E531 or A534, regardless if I need it or not. Now, typically, do you really need it? Probably not, because under notes, it says right there, 524. However, I'll put one in there for 524, and I'll put one in there separately for 531. And the reason for that if they ever want to query a report, they'll be able to search for 531 or 534 and pull out all that data. In this case, they wouldn't get it because it's not pulled out. So that's why I put this specific. So we don't want to see station 2. How do you get rid of it? Well, if you come down over here and filter, hide things, hide items with no unit set. Well, I'm not going to hide any of mine because I know all mine have something set, but theirs aren't. So let's get rid of the riffraff. Apply the filter. Now, everything in here that doesn't have a filter, a unit attached to it, is not going to be seen. I know that's not going to apply to me because mine are all filled out, and this is my journal. You should be able to look at this and mirror your journal. And the two of these. Now, if you're a battalion chief, you should be able to see this at your station. You should be able to look at the journal. You should be able to technically to print this out, come over and look at the journal, and they should be identical. So anyway, now here the main thing is, though, you definitely want to, when you're done for the day, you want to clear the filters. Now you notice it's blue. I'm going to unclick that so I get all my data back. And I'm going to, now I can close that. You notice it's not filtered anymore. These you can leave on. If you do turn them off, or I guess filter is on, so the filter is on right now. If you turn the filter on, you're not going to see anything. Somebody's going to come in and freak. So you definitely want to turn your filters off, at least to the 3 that we use. And if you really want to see what the Bureau did, you could actually turn theirs on too, but that's really not as important. Those are the 3 things that we use. So there's some of your filtering capabilities. There's a lot more involved. There's more, but as I say, there's these 4 items here. There's all these items if you want to. And actually, I had another report for the fire officer, people who are doing fire officer classes. There's another video I did. If you want to search for you as a member, I did a search to do a report so you can see what kind of calls you were on, so you can classify those for your fire officer requirements to see. You have to have so many, vehicle fires, so many firefighters, so many ambulance calls, etc. Or any kind of data you want to see what you were on. You could actually filter reports out with just your name and what you were on. Okay, I think I'll just keep that short and sweet for this video. Thank you very much, and goodbye.